annual meeting of electors. While school boards are charged with the care, control, and management of the district, this meeting is for you, the electors. Tonight you will hear the district's formal budget presentation. You will be able to ask questions and make comments about the budget, and you will be asked to vote on the tax levy. I'd like to begin by introducing my colleagues on the school board. Mrs. Linda Witkowski, Board Vice President. Mr. Alan Alexandrovich, Board Treasurer. Mrs. Debbie Larson, Board Clerk. Mrs. Ann Sapersky, Dr. Maksud Khan, and Dr. Angela Beer. Also present are key members of our administrative team, Dr. Judy Miller, District Administrator, Dr. Jessica Moe, Assistant Superintendent of Continuous Improvement. Welcome, Dr. Moe.
Thank you.
Mr. Jim Milzer, Director of Business Services. Ms. Christine Cody, Director of Student Services. We begin tonight, as we do all of our meetings, with the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please stand and join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. As we move to agenda item number 3, we need a motion to appoint a chair for the meeting, which I'd be pleased to act as.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mike Sprague is chairperson. Opposed? Sorry. At this time, I will appoint Ms. Debbie Larson, Clerk of the Franklin School Board, to serve as recording secretary of this meeting. For agenda item number 4, Ms. Larson, Clerk of the Franklin School Board, would read the official notice of the annual meeting, the minutes of the 2020 annual meeting of the electors, the minutes of the special meeting of the Board of Education for reorganization held on August 19th, 2020, the minutes of the special meeting of the Board of Education for board vacancy interviews held on September 30th, 2020, and the minutes of the special meeting of the Board of Education for administrator resignations held on July 21st, 2021, all of which are published in tonight's handout, which is right over there if anybody wants one. However, at this time, do I have a motion to dispense with the reading of the meeting notice and the minutes, and to approve the minutes of the 2020 annual meeting, the minutes of the special meeting of the Board of Education for reorganization held on August 19th, 2020, the minutes of the special meeting of the Board of Education for board vacancy interviews held on September 30th, 2020, and the minutes of the special meeting of the Board of Education for administrator resignations held on July 21st, 2021, as published in tonight's handout.
I move to dispense with their formal reading.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I would now like to call your attention to agenda item number 5. The end of the year treasurer's report is included in tonight's budget presentation handout. I would also like to call to your attention to the rules of procedure for the 2021 annual meeting. The rules may be found in your handout. Please note that the rules state that persons who wish to speak at this annual meeting shall be residents of the Franklin Public School District. Persons who wish to speak shall do so after recognition by the chair and must state their name and address. I now invite Dr. Miller to share the district administrator address. Dr. Miller, please.
Thank you. You have at your place the report that I've provided for you. On the back side is what you'll be hearing this evening if you'd like to follow along. So I'm proud to share at this annual meeting the accomplishments of our school district and the means by which we'll continue to provide a high-quality education for the students of Franklin Public Schools. The 2021 school year, although impacted by COVID, was a successful year. Despite the reduction in standardized assessment data as the results of the statewide shutdown in spring, available assessment sources, including ACT and advanced placement assessments, show that Franklin Public School District is once again on track to meet high expectations for student performance. For the 2020 graduating class, 71.6% of the graduates were considered college ready, and 92.4% of the graduates were considered career ready. Self-reported student engagement numbers remain high across the district, as well as the community-based learning experience and mentorships for our students. Some of the achievement gaps do continue to exist within our district, and we're committed to ongoing and focused goal setting as part of our coherence plan to close these gaps. We'll continue to monitor our available standardized assessment sources this year to ensure students are achieving and growing. As a district, we were forerunners in our planning and implementation of COVID mitigation measures and metrics. We successfully opened in-person learning at the start of the school year and kept our schools open for in-person learning except for a 2-week period at Franklin High School. We also successfully staffed our virtual programs and provided all of our students a high-quality educational experience. The 2021 school year marked the 3rd year of the Franklin Public School District's 3-year coherence plan. Since its creation, our commitment to continuous improvement has continued to evolve and grow. As a result, we've learned a lot in the last 3 years about where to focus our efforts to achieve our mission and vision. Due to COVID-19 and the disruption in the administration of standardized testing, we are continuing with many of our achievement goals in our next plan. We know we have achieved success in our student engagement, exceeding our 3-year goal target by 18%. We also exceeded our goal to retain our community partners over the last 3 years. Finally, we've grown in our employee engagement by 15% and have met our 3-year goal. During the past school year, we have examined both our data and experiences and completed a refresh of our coherence plan for the next 3 years. All the work we do is designed to help us become a better place to learn, better place to work, and part of a better community. The coherence plan is the structure for advancing our goals and strategies. Each part of the coherence plan supports our core values of equity, personal growth, innovation, stewardship, and well-being. Franklin Public Schools has a long history of good fiscal health. Our bond ratings have been consistently high, saving the district's hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest in long-term debt. The 2021 budget was significantly funded to allow students to return to school in fall or move to a virtual learning environment at any time. There were funds set aside to provide for additional technology, sanitizing, cleaning, and other supplies needed to deal with the issues presented by COVID-19. In the area of long-term debt, the district reduced the long-term tax amount by over $2.7 million to the community through defeasance and refinancing long-term debt. Sound fiscal planning has allowed the district to weather the impact of COVID-19 and provide a projected tax levy decrease of 2.4% for the 21-21 school year. Most importantly, our resources continue to enable us to achieve our mission of serving students in a manner that allows them to reach their highest level of personal success through learning experiences that focus on student needs in active partnership with our family and community. The last 2 years have been impacted by COVID and have changed our lives. We have excelled in serving our students and families and have never lost sight of our goals of becoming a better place to learn, better place to work, and part of a better community. Regardless of any obstacles that may come our way, we are committed to improving and making Franklin Public Schools better and will continue to be good stewards of the taxpayers' investment in our schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I now have a motion to recess the annual meeting for the 2021-22 school district and recreation budget hearings?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I now invite Mr. Milzer to present the school district budget. Mr. Milzer, please.
A copy of the budget is in the handout tonight as well as on board docs. And there's even more budget.
You can lean into the mic, Jim.
Okay, is this better? Yeah, maybe? Okay. All right, here we go. I was saying a copy of the document is in board docs as well as in the handout, and that there's even more budget information on our website. The budget's based on a lot of estimates at this time of the year. The number of students is not counted until September. Our state aid we don't find out about until October. So the final draft of the budget at the end of October is based on actual numbers at that point. So at this point, we're working with estimates. In revenue, our main sources of revenue are state aid and property taxes. Together, those make up over 90% of our revenue in the budget. This year, with COVID, we are budgeting for $1 million in the elementary and secondary school emergency relief funds. These are federal funds related to COVID. And the state biennial budget, which was just passed, it's a 2-year budget, appears to provide additional funding for K-12 schools. You'll see that they allocated $408 million towards that aid. However, there was no increase in the school revenue limits, so school districts can't use that money for education. The revenue limit will require school districts to use that for property tax reductions instead. And our estimated enrollment, we were looking at a decrease of 93 students for an estimated loss of about $750,000. In our Capital Improvement Trust Fund, this is a fund that the district uses to save money for large improvement projects. This year, we're adding turf to the baseball and softball fields because softball is losing 2 practice fields that they have, as the city is going to use those for other purposes. And baseball lost time on their fields due to the move to spring baseball. And turf is about 1/3 of the cost of constructing all new fields. The high school entrance, the athletic entrance renovation is another one that we're working on. We're adding doors in the lower level hallway to keep visitors near the gym, replacing ceiling tiles, flooring, installing LED lights, new paint, and updating the exterior of the building in that location. The recreation and community education program is looking forward to offering all the classes that they did prior to COVID. So they will be moving forward with that. And when we look at property taxes, based on the budget, the district has held property taxes to a 0.3% increase over 5 years, including the 2021-22 budget. The tax rate has decreased each year for the past 7 years. And for 21-22, we're looking at the property tax amount in total to go down by over $800,000. What does this mean for taxes on a property? We're estimating about a $24 reduction for every $100,000 of property value. It doesn't include the additional drop from the state funds. So this would happen regardless of the state funds, but we won't find out until October what that reduction will be. As was mentioned, we did fund long-term debt reduction, saving $2.7 million. And so these property taxes are the amounts that you'll be asked to vote on later. In conclusion, this budget decreases taxes while continuing to fund our exceptional learning programs and provide experiences for our students to ensure that they're ready for life, college, and careers.
Thank you.
May I make a motion
Please.
for a question? My name is Mira Kresvik. I can give you my driver's license. May I do that in lieu of stating?
Sure.
Oh, give it to Lisa, please, yeah.
Does this budget also include money set aside for graduation ceremonies?
Yes, it would include the cost of graduation.
May I make a motion at this time? With the permission of
You can't make a
We
motion.
can't make a motion at this point. There's public hearing at this point.
I'm sorry, then I misunderstood.
Once the meeting is back in session.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? Mr. Wamser.
Did you say how much money was left over from COVID money that was granted to our school district from last year?
Last year, we used about $250,000 in COVID money. So there was,
Money were you allotted?
in that round, we used what we were allotted, about $250,000.
I didn't hear it.
In that round, last year, we were allotted about $250,000, and that was what we spent. We incurred expenses of about $2 million extra.
Thank you.
But,
Go ahead. You have another question.
pardon me?
You have another question?
Oh, I'm sorry. Mrs. Winky.
I don't know how this all goes. I have a question. In the budget, is there anything about like air purifications that were put in place, in the classrooms for the children? Any of those little machines that, the doctors and dentists now all have?
There aren't any additional machines in the classrooms. There is funding for additional air exchanges in the classrooms, as well as a very small filter used to filter out those, as well as additional filter changes.
Is that something COVID related that was added?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mrs. Winky, could you state your address so that,
Sure, 3676 West End Avenue.
does anybody else have any budget questions? All right, we will now adjourn the budget hearing and reconvene the annual meeting. Can we vote? Do we need a motion to? For agenda item number 9, do I have a motion to approve the 2021-22 school tax levy for operations in the amount of $28,489,998?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Well, now
Is there
discussion.
discussion?
We have
Is
discussion
there
now?
discussion?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Mary Pressvick. Excuse me, my name is Mary Pressvick. May I ask of the board members, just a quick show of hands, who here graduated from Franklin High School? I did, in 1987. I moved to this community in 1971. I'm here to make a motion, and I have a small preface. I would say that the location of the graduation ceremony does impact our entire city, not just the graduates and their families. The word community is often repeated on the district website. Each board member during your campaign told us about his or her service to this community. There are many events where the community is expected to come to schools, but I don't know when the board, the district, or the school actually steps out to help the community. Graduation provides that opportunity. I believe it was elitist to host the graduation in the just too big family field in the city of Milwaukee. I wonder if you are showing our students that our community, our quality of life, isn't enough. The grass is greener over there. Be more like them. Have you considered the economic impact of your decision on local businesses, local restaurants? The decision to hold last year's graduation outside of Franklin opportunistically robbed our community of its tax dollars by taking them out of this community and spending them elsewhere. This pandemic has caused many local businesses to be financially vulnerable, and they were robbed by your decision as well. How many families followed your example and patronized a proximate business, a Milwaukee restaurant, taking even more revenue out of our Franklin community? Board members have said it's not much, but I disagree. Are you considering those residents that are on Social Security and how your not much may affect those on other limited incomes. Your decisions directly affect all of the neighbors in this community. You have the opportunity to support the people and the businesses in Franklin. The value you place on this community will be reflected in your selection of a graduation venue. Please consider building a bridge from the district into this city. Please lead by example and support Franklin, our community. I move that the board decide on a graduation location within Franklin city limits, aligning with the district goals and mission. Thank you. I'm not certain that that was the correct time, but I didn't want to miss the opportunity.
No, thank you. And I don't know that it's necessarily something that falls under the tax levy, but I certainly appreciate your, I know you wanted to speak when you had the chance to speak. So thank you for sharing those thoughts.
I appreciate your perspective. I know we spent a long time discussing this at the last board meeting. I know it will be discussed again. Is there further discussion?
We don't have a second yet.
We don't have a second.
Or what?
She made a motion.
Are you tabling or?
Do we need a second to go into the discussion? If it's a motion, or is it not an appropriate motion? I don't know.
Did she make a motion? She made a motion.
She said she wanted to make a motion, but I don't know if it's appropriate to do so at this point from a citizen.
Well, is it an amendment to the budget? Is that a budgetary line item, Jim? Mr. Milzer?
The budget can't be changed.
Okay,
at the
so this
annual
is
meeting.
literally just
This
to-
is
for
a
the-
vote on the levy.
The levy, okay.
So the motion doesn't have a second. Is there a second to the motion?
I second the motion. Would you repeat the motion, please?
The motion was that the board
Can't do
decide on a
this,
graduation
because they would
location
be
within
controlling the
Franklin
board
city limits,
entirely.
aligning with
Cannot
the
do
district
this.
goals and mission.
It's not, it has to be a motion initiated by a board member.
All right, this would have to be a motion initiated by a board member in order to be
I wrote you in June, sir.
Pardon me?
I wrote you in June, sir.
Yes, you did. Thank you. And I wrote you back.
And you said that you would pursue it, but
Okay, is there a motion from the board? Or is there any other discussion for agenda item number 9?
Yes, I have a question, Jim. This is not the final vote, though, on this levy, correct? It still can be adjusted in October.
The levy will almost assuredly be adjusted in October.
Thank you. I think I also want to say regarding graduation that I think the board, in their discussion, expects that to come back to the board. So I'm not sure if this is the venue to really make that change.
We request that it come back to the board at a later meeting when it might be a more appropriate time to discuss it. Would that be
Certainly.
reasonable?
Certainly.
Does that seem reasonable?
thank you.
And I will let you know when it's coming back to the board.
Thank you.
Any further discussion?
I think also with the budget, we did, I think, had a discussion about adjusting some of the cost, we removed some of the stuff from the budget, from the initial budget to decrease the budget as such, So, Mr. Milzer, can you mention which was? Also, at the board meeting, we had a discussion about revising the budget a little bit and removing one of the items. Can you mention about that, Mr. Milzer?
It means the fund balance in the community ed and recreation fund.
The tax levy.
Correct.
The tax levy for community ed and rec is the same as it was last year, as the board voted on.
It's also a separate item. There's 3 separate items to vote on for the budget. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve the 2021-22 school tax levy for debt service in the amount of $4,782,525? I'm sorry? Thank you. Could you state your name and address for the record? Is there a second? Mr. Alexandrovich, thank you. Any discussion?
Just one comment. Jim, you did mention $2.7 million savings. That is over the life of the bond, correct? That was not in this.
Yes, over the life of the bond.
I'll make that clear.
And how long is the bond?
About 20 years.
20 years? 20 years or 20 years?
I'd have to look it up to be sure, but there should be 20 years. It's what we usually put them out for. It's not happening all this year, I guess, is kind of the reference that you're bringing up. We're not saving 2.7 million this year. It's over that period of time.
And the bond doesn't start, we don't start seeing that savings for,
We're seeing some of it this year, but it is larger in future years.
any other discussion? All right, the motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve the 2021-22 school tax levy for community education recreation in the amount of $626,276?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? So there was an amendment at the last meeting, or maybe the meeting in June, I don't remember. When we talked about the budget to, it was,
We decreased the amount held in the fund balance by $100,000 from the
about
initial
150,000?
budget presented. Based on, felt that it was excessive to hold in balance. We had more than enough money to buffer any possible fee increases for residents in the community, which is one of the main reasons that we hold money in the fund balance. Is that a fairly accurate explanation? Probably not good enough.
It was a reduction in the tax levy of $147,000 for those purposes.
It was.
it was, yeah, the amendment was approved. So this is the amount, this is the new amount. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The electors at last year's annual meeting approved school board salaries in the amount of $4,000 annually per board member. Do I have a motion to approve school board salaries for the 21-22 school year? In the amount of $4,000. Second. All right. Mrs. Goldsmith, could you please, oh, I'm sorry, Grossmith. Thank you. Any discussion? All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Do I have a motion to schedule the 2022 annual meeting of the electors on Wednesday, August 24th, 2022 at 6 p.m. at the Education and Community Center?
So moved.
Second.
August 24th, 2022, 6 p.m.
Would that be the same day that the districts would hold their open houses? Great question.
How are those open house dates set? I don't even know.
They coincide with coming prior to the first day of school, which is always September 1st, because we can't start any earlier than that under state law. So I was just pulling up a calendar here. Give me a second. Take a look at that, the likelihood of that.
Is there any reason that if they are, I don't know how many of the elementary schools are tonight, but all of them.
Can we try not to do that next year?
So our staff returns just a few days prior to the start of school. So we have like a 3-day window with our staff.
Is this meeting
Just let me check, please. So, August 2022, 24th. So the first day of school would be Thursday. The 1st is September 1st. A little unusual to start school on that day. And of course, our calendar isn't set. We set it in fall. So, but that would mean our staff would be returning 29, 30, 31, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday potentially, and then those open houses would occur then. So this meeting would be well in advance of that on the 24th. Does that make sense?
So why is this year different in that it's?
Well, let me go back.
earlier?
Let me figure that out for you.
I know there's not discussion, but if I can add, it has been a conflict for many years.
Okay.
It's been that both are on perpetual calendar and it always falls on Wednesday.
Yeah, yeah.
Could we move the annual meeting to the 17th, the Wednesday before the 24th? Is there a reason it would need to be on the 24th?
Mr. Milzer would have to respond to that in terms of having what he needs to complete,
The levy.
what he needs for the annual meeting.
We could do it on the 17th.
So then it wouldn't conflict. There wouldn't be any problem with that. You're welcome.
All right, so I withdraw my motion and make a new motion that we schedule next year's annual meeting on August
17th.
17th at 6 PM in the ECC.
So, or you moved it,
I moved it.
I'm
You second,
seconding it.
yeah.
Great. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Do I have a motion to adjourn the 2021 annual meeting of the electors of the Franklin Public School District?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The meeting is adjourned at 6:34.